let's review Caramel Corn Chex from General Mills. This box screams fall, but is caramel corn an autumn snack? Will an extra bit of sweetness be just what Corn Chex has always needed? Will we together come up with any explanation for why General Mills put a green bow on the box? Friends, it's time to eat some cereal. Happy birthday, everybody. Welcome to Cerealsly, where we take cereals seriously. My name is Alex, and I eat and review hundreds of cereals a year with episodes every single week in order to help you get the most out of your cereal experience. Today on Cerealsly, we're looking at a brand new fall cereal from General Mills, Caramel Corn Chex. And yes, I'm going to say caramel this whole time. If you're a caramel corn kind of person, that is so great. What a diverse world we live in. But for today, please show me your grace and forgiveness as I am a caramel corn sayer. The Chex brand, by the way, is no stranger to flavor variations with options ranging from blueberry to honey nut. In fact, you can see on the back of the box, they have a giant line of a lot of them. Last year, I even added a dream flavor to their lineup without them knowing by creating my own mock-up of gochujang Chex. Now, I'm still waiting for the real version of this one to be produced, but that's okay. I'm a patient fella. This caramel corn flavor, for what it's worth, seems like the perfect addition to the Chex flavor lineup, mostly because the corn is already baked in. So really the only thing they had to come up with was the caramel and get a spray in. Now, of course, to me, the only thing better than great caramel corn is a great salted caramel corn. When I go to the movies, I often buy the caramel corn and then sprinkle the popcorn salt on it myself. You should try that. It is amazing. And they do have a salted caramel corn Chex party mix recipe on the back of the box, but the cereal flavor itself drops the salted and is just caramel. And honestly, that may end up being the crux of this review. Are these going to taste like caramel popcorn like they show on the box, or just caramel Corn Chex? That may seem like a small distinction, but it's one I'm excited to explore. Now listen, before we get to the review, I mentioned this in the intro, but can anyone out there think of a reason why this bow is here? I genuinely feel like I'm missing something. Chex has had limited edition flavors before, but none of them have had a bow, so I want to see if you viewers can help me crack that mystery. But for now, I want to use all of my cereal expertise to help you decide if you need a bowl of caramel corn Chex. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, you have a great sense of style and are really quite chic. But would you do me a favor? Would you like this video and subscribe to the channel and maybe even think of leaving a comment with what cereal we should look at together in a future episode? Doing any one of those three things would really help me out. All right, I think I am ready. I have got my bowl. I've got my spoon. I've got my trusty 1% milk that I love so much. And of course, the cereal of the hour, Caramel Corn Chex. Every time I say Caramel Corn Chex, I wonder in my mind, is this Caramel Corn Chex or is this Caramel Corn Chex? And is there any difference between those two? That's what we're about to find out, I think. So let's not waste any more time. Let's open these up, see what they look like in a bowl. I can tell you what they look like in a bowl. They look exactly like shiny Corn Chex. Boy, there is a thick coating of the flavoring on this, so much so that for some of the pieces, it has overwhelmed the lattice. I think that's a good thing. That means they did not skimp on the flavor juice or whatever they're using. Yum. I hope that will be yummy. Let's give a try to Caramel Corn Chex Dry. Boy, I gotta tell you, dry, the caramel flavor's a little funky. It doesn't taste like straight up caramelized sugar. It tastes like there's something else. Let me give it one more try, dry, and see if I can figure it out. Well, it's not a dark caramel. It's very light to mid taste, but there is something else in here. I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to check the ingredients to see if I'm just a crazy person. Corn and cornmeal and sugar and cornstarch. Honey. I knew it. This has a twinge of honey flavor to it, and not a great twinge, like a cheap honey twinge to it. Now that I know what it is, I'm much more comfortable in my spirit. But I can tell you it was a little disturbing for me on first taste to recognize that there was something else. Very validating that I think I'm right on this one, but very odd that they make no mention of it. Maybe that's what the bow is about. Somehow symbolizes that they added honey. Anyway, it's a fine flavor, but I gotta tell you, it really took me off guard because it wasn't a straight up caramel flavor. Let's put some milk on it, see what that does. All right, let's try caramel corn Chex in milk. Let me tell you what I like first. I like Corn Chex. Some of you know that my favorite cereal in all of the world is Crispix, which is a direct competitor to Chex, which takes the rice and the corn and puts them together. Of those two, though, I definitely prefer the corn side. And so therefore, I prefer Corn Chex. When I make a Chex mix, I do not put Rice Chex and Corn Chex in balance. I usually put in at least double the Corn Chex. Sometimes I leave out the Rice Chex altogether. So in this cereal, the Corn Chex is going a long way. But here's the problem I have with it. It doesn't taste at all like caramel corn. And my guess for why that is because caramel corn has a lot to do with the texture of the popped corn. This is not popped corn. This is cereal grain corn. So it's not making that translation that my brain wants it to make. Secondly, that twinge of honey is removing the pure caramel taste from my brain, and I don't like it very much. This cereal is most akin to Honey Nut Chex, which are also made with Corn Chex, but those have a way better flavor. Those are just as sweet, just as thick of a coating, but my brain and taste buds love that one. This one, they're a little bit confused by. Let me give it one more try. No, I'm not a fan. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not disgusting. They didn't screw this up to the point where I think they need to recall the boxes. But I think you can save your money on this one. I would highly recommend you go for Honey Nut Chex instead of Caramel Corn Chex. In fact, I think all that's left is to give this cereal a rating out of 5. Well, friends, we have done it all. We talked, we ate, we took every facet of taste and texture into consideration, and now it's enough. My final verdict on Caramel Corn Chex is 1 out of 5. This one, to me, is not worth your hard-earned cereal money. Yeah, I love myself a limited edition cereal, but just to put a bow on this review, it's not very good. The caramel flavor is kind of odd. I think I called it funky at one point, and that's definitely the case. They seem to have added honey to the mix, which for me is a different flavor profile than caramel. That kind of mezzed me up. And I think they have way better flavors on the market right now for you to try instead. If you do still want to try today's cereal for yourself, I got mine at Walmart, and they are listed as limited edition, so I'd be sure to check them out, maybe even before Christmas cereals take over in a few months. And listen, I'd love to spend even more cereal time together, and YouTube thinks you'll enjoy the videos that are on screen right now. So check those out while you're waiting for our brand new episode next week. Until then, never be soggy, my